Hello, everyone. How are you? My name is Raymond Nugent, aka Chronic Pain, the Inner Demon, which is my channel. Because I deal with chronic pain, and it's something that I talk about on and off, throughout some of my videos or my live chats. But today, December 28th, we're not going to talk about that right now. We're going to reflect back on the year 2020 because this year, 2020, was the most overwhelming, stressful, long, scary, and I'm telling you, just one of those years that I just never thought I would see, you know? Yeah. It's like, every day you get up, you fight for survival, because, wearing your mask and everything, you're fighting for survival. You're trying to stay distance, you're trying to stay home, you're fighting for survival. But I'm just going to go back, January, and then move forward. January, I'm sure, come around, a lot of people look at their calendar and saw what they mark off for the year 2020, what they were going to accomplish. Graduations, weddings, vacations, parties, etc., 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 and different accomplishments, that they were going to celebrate. You know what I mean? The year started out, I'm sure everybody was trying to make their plans because January started out where I think quite a few, places around America, people were doing that January dry where, you don't drink alcohol for like that 1 month in January, this past January 2020, when the year started. That's pretty much what was on the table, you know. Then we heard about the Kobe Bryant death. And for all my basketball fans, my Laker fans, my heart goes out to you. I'm a Kobe's fan, big Kobe fan, and my heart was broken that day when I heard about Kobe. And I walk outside and I think I was just looking around in space, because I couldn't believe it. I was just wondering how and why. And I watched for a few weeks and still being disbelief. Here comes COVID. When COVID started out in America, in around the the, the eastern part of the world, um, we heard bits and pieces on the news about it. Then we found a few cases in Washington, Seattle, and there was a some kind of outbreak up there. Then California, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Then it moved on to New York, where it caused a tremendous, tremendous havoc, especially in people of color. A tremendous amount of havoc. New Jersey, Louisiana, Texas, Detroit. I think I said California before, Arizona. Then it's just like hopscotch around America and just have us in disbelief because I was so dumbfounded because I'm like, what is this? How could this be? All of a sudden, we start adapting to different way of life, different ways of life, I should say. First of all, schooling, the way they had to distance schooling, some kids from home, via, the computer. And then some kids, maybe a few kids in the classroom where they have to downsize. And so comes the workforce as well. A lot of companies shut down. because of outbreaks. A lot of people lost their families, and at the same time, even though the rest of us are trying to stay safe, it's just watching every day how this thing is just going around the world and just causing some serious demise. And we're sitting there being clueless, not clueless, but we just don't have a clue. You know what I'm saying? Of course, it's clueless because we're clueless about it. So let me correct myself. Because it's something we've never seen before, and don't even actually know how to react to it as far as the precaution measures. Yes, we guess and spell and figure out certain ways around it, you know, but it was very hard for us in America because we suffered a lot, a lot, and it bothers me, you know, because I wonder why we suffered so much, you know, while other parts of the world, you didn't really find that much devastation, which I mean, I understand worldwide, is tremendous, but when you look at America and you say to yourself, okay, we should have all the resources to conquer anything that come against us, right? And on this, I think it caught us in the back of our heels. That's just my opinion. Or maybe we weren't told, you know, about this thing, clearly and what it could do. And, it maybe caught us on the back of our heels. I'm just going to use that term, just to use that term, yeah. Maybe it caught us on the back of our heels, you know, and it caused a tremendous demise in our country. So our way of life has changed because the restaurants had to be shut down. Doctors' offices, you don't get the visit you used to get before. It's via, if you don't have a smartphone or a smart computer, then, I don't know how you're going to figure out your doctor's appointment because that's how we get our doctor's appointment. Now, especially me, it's via, telephone where they call you and you look at them on the screen and we do our appointments, So things have changed drastically. You see what I'm saying? In a fast fashion, fast pace, Um, so yeah, so going back to where, the clubs are closed, the bars are closed, pretty much everything is shut down, except, the food areas where we could get food and stuff like that so we could survive. And a lot of people most of us went into quarantine. Most of the world, Yeah. I remember at one point the world was shut down, and I just walk outside and look around in dismay because I was just dumbfounded, you know, and just to see what was going on a daily basis, where you have the bodies piling up in places where you have to be moving them in trucks and putting people in mass graves, and family don't even find out about their family members until later on, and it's too late. And it was just so much. I think it was just so strange, and it's still strange, you know. And we're for the few businesses that are open, they had to transform their business where they have to put the signs up where without a mask you can't come in, and you have to stay 6 feet apart, where they have the stuff on the floor, and they put up the plexiglass and everything, all the precautions that we have to take, all the transformation that we have to deal with, in 2020, that no one thought was going to be, you know, that way. You see what I'm saying? I mean, that's just my opinion, really. I don't think no one ever thought that was going to be that way, because I sure didn't, you know. And, things went on. I used to walk around busy areas in Orlando. Then, I drive up certain places. Everything is shut. It's just, it is what it really is. And it hits me to the point where I am still, still at loss. I mean, I'm still at loss because, I mean, I really don't know what this thing is. Real. I mean, I heard the name COVID-19, but, we gave it that name pretty much because before that, it was called the Wuhan virus, and then we gave it the name COVID-19. So still, I really don't really know what it is, and we might have heard of its origin, and it could be possible. I don't know, but we need to know the truth about it because it took so many lives, and I think people know the truth, need to know the truth, so we could put certain things at rest. We deserve that. As people around the world. Not just speaking for America. People around the world. You know, so with all of that said, man, I think it rattled us pretty bad because economically it affects us because a lot of the jobs, they had to shut down. People got laid off. So economically it hurts us because people can't afford to pay their rent, can't afford to pay for their cars, can't afford to put their kids in school, can't afford to do the things that they used to do. Myself included. So then what? Then the stress come along because bad enough this thing stressed us out, and we can't even figure out what it is because you can't see it. But I'm sure we know it's killing people. So we're trying to be aware by wearing these masks and stay in lockdown. You know what I mean? But we still don't know exactly what really this is until you showed us something in the lab or whatever and said this is what this is and explain to us in layman terms where we could understand that this is what really was causing all these demise, in my opinion, to put our minds at ease because I tell you, man, this thing killed more people in war, yeah, it kills more people than people die in war. This thing killed more people than people died in World War One, World War Two together. Can you imagine? I think this thing killed more people in World War One and Two together around the world, globally. That's how serious it is. Okay, and so we're trying to fight this thing throughout the year. Movie theater locks down, everything shut down, whatever. And I think coming down the line, we had where the George Floyd situation, upstart us again, America again, the world again, because of, the handling of, George Floyd and his human rights, and that became a big thing where people went out and marched and demonstrate as they should, and I don't know if that caused another big wave of infection. Some of these experts said it did. I don't know. But with all that said, within that time, the numbers went up after, things went down for a while. Then we had another unrest. We had Minnesota. We had a few other places, where I can't mention the names at the moment because I don't remember them, and I'm not going to tell about a state that I really don't remember. But there was a few states, even Florida, there were a few states where there, Atlanta, Georgia, where the young man lost his life. I think he had went to the fast food restaurant and he fell asleep, So Atlanta, Georgia, there was another unrest. And also the Breonna Taylor, situation. All these things were happening while we're still fighting and trying to stay safe from COVID. So when you look back at 2020 and see the things that came at us and how resilient we are as people, this should really make us say to ourselves, man, if we went through that and we're still here, we could do anything, yeah, yeah. Then with all the Breonna Taylor situation, then comes the election, Then comes the election. Then after the election, then you see the election after the election. I don't know how to word it, but you see where you know, other, places where, you know, people of government weren't certain about where they asked to, get recounts and stuff like that, which they have all rights to, you know. Um, and then you see, all the other stuff that went on with that. I'm sure we all saw that on the television. I don't really need to mention that stuff. You see what I'm saying? So this year was the most distracted year of my life because none of us could look on paper and said, okay, pretty much I accomplished everything that I have written down for the year 2020. You know what I'm saying? We can't look at our calendar and say, okay, I accomplished all of this stuff: bungee jumping, traveling, seeing my parents, taking the kids up, seeing graduation, going to the weddings, et cetera, et cetera, going to a nice party. We can't mark out the calendar for the year, 2020. A lot of us it's just blank because my calendar 2020 is pretty much blank, you know, and full of sorrow. I tell you, I'm a very optimistic guy, and with all that said, you see coming down the pike now where we have the vaccine, and today another company announced. So now I think there's 5 or 6 companies on board now with vaccines. That's pretty much what we're seeing today. So if it works for us, you know, I thank you guys and for the hard work because it was expedited, and a lot of people have uncertainties, which they should, and they have questions, which they should. But if this is what's going to stop what's going on, then so be it. Because we lost too many people. It's time for it to stop. Enough is enough. Yeah. So if the scientists they could prove that they could you know conquer this, I think they did a tremendous job. One of the best things I've ever done since I've been on Earth, because I've never seen another pandemic or something like this that really shuts down the world and costs us what it costs us economically. Because can you imagine what this pandemic cost the world economically? Can you imagine? That's just one part of it. One part. But the pain that comes with it as well, from people losing their family. The transitions from people who don't even have jobs, don't have food, don't have shelter because they're evicted. The pain that comes with it. The scars that comes with it. The mental stress that comes with it. It's going to be years before a lot of us get over what really happened in 2020. And I do understand, clearly. I do understand. Because it's the most overwhelming year I have ever seen in my life. I live in this country. I live through wars where wars have been fought, and people are being alert and doing things or whatever. I lived through other epidemic that broke out, and the precaution that was taken, and people been through it, fought it, and life goes on. I have never lived through a pandemic where the world shuts down, opens back up, don't even know it should shut down again. Look at England. And then also the new spike in England. The other day I was talking to a mate of mine in England, and he said to me that, hey, they started testing the kids in school now for COVID. But at the time, I didn't understand that there was a new thing going on. So I didn't really pay it no mind. And this was like last Sunday. And then following up this week, I saw where, they're talking about this new, new type of COVID out there. And I'm wondering if that's why they shut down London, England, because you saw all the truck drivers in line, that can't really get through. You know, you see what happened for a few days. You know, it was televised. You see what I'm saying? And if that's the case, can these new vaccines work for those things? Can these new vaccines, you know, also take care of those things? You know, or this new spike, or you know, or this new part of the virus? You see what I'm saying? And for the youngsters, the kids, can you imagine what they're going through for the kids? Because if we are adults and we're so stunned and still in disbelief because we don't know, you know, we have no answers. Can you imagine how the little ones feel? That's just looking at everything that's going on, seeing the transition, moving around with mom and pops because they lose their jobs, can't pay the electric bill so the lights are not on, can't find food so you have to go to bed hungry. I tell you, 2020, hashtag vivid. That's how I started out because that slogan I had it now for about a year and a half because my friends could tell you because I have a few friends that you know I share that with. And when I said the hashtag vivid, clear, you know, I wasn't looking for this kind of vivid. You see what I'm saying? But oh yeah, it's really vivid, deadly vivid. Years to come, there's going to be a lot of books about 2020, a lot of different historical or history, you know, documentaries about 2020. But I hope one day the truth be told to us as human because we deserve to know the truth. Because of what we went through, we deserve to know the truth. The changes that we have made, the sacrifice, the pain. As humanity, we need to know the truth. So, as governments, don't put this on the back burner. Make sure you go out there and find out the truth about what really transpired and what really happened so it will never happen again. Choose good over evil. 2020. 2020. We'll ask Chadwick. We'll ask the great senator. He was the one that really fought, really. One of the ones that really fought. So, you know, a person of color like myself could go out and vote. We lost a lot of great pioneers as well. But because there were so many lost throughout the year, it seems like we became used to it. And damn, how should we become used to that? No. Damn, no. Not like that. No. Yes, we believe in the inevitable, but still too astronomical, especially at one time. But I have high hopes for 2021, especially in the middle of 2021, for us as mankind, especially in this part of the world. We might be able to breathe a little bit more again, just a little bit more, until this thing is gone forever. then we could breathe the real fresh air again. Because in those masks, really, what are we breathing? What are we breathing through in those masks? Because sometimes the hot hair just make you feel like, you know, yeah, gives you a rush, like you just want to sit down. And what are we really breathing? You know, but we have to do that because it's one of the ways to save lives. 2020, vivid. Kobe Bryant, Black Mamba. Who feels it knows it. Chadwick. And to all the other pioneers. Love and respect. Peace.